Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren. Hey there, Lauren.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little chilly, though. Hey, maybe we'll explain more on that later. But we're not in our normal environs.
We're not.
Mm-mm.
It's much better, actually. I like our little studio, but this is better.
This is nice.
I can get used to this.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Maybe. Got to keep listening. You never know. We'll drop that in wherever we want to.
I think we'll talk about it.
Podcast at wildershow.com is where you find us when you send us email. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays at 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. So please like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. We are on we're on the gram. Instagram.
On occasion?
Instagram, if you want to find us, you will simply search Wilder Show Pod. And then, boom, there it is. Mm-hmm. And then you follow us and you tell everybody. And I mean everybody. We're watching. So tell everybody to find the Wilder Show podcast right here in the on the interwebs. There's a new pope. There is a new pope in town, Lauren.
Yep.
Is that a saying there's a new pope in town? New sheriff
I don't think
in town. That's what they used to say. There's a new pope in town. So watch out. And his name is, I have it somewhere.
Leo the 14th.
The 14th. His name is Leo the 14th. What that means is he is the 14th Leo.
Thank you for clearing that up.
I didn't even know that's how they came up with that.
What do you mean?
I'm not being stupid, like fake stupid. I didn't know that when they say Louis the 14th, that means he was the 14th one named Louis. I really didn't.
You didn't? So
like
there is a high school.
John the 5th.
In town right near us.
JP2.
John Paul.
JP2.
JP2.
So he was the second one.
He was the second pope named John Paul.
I didn't know that. I know they had different names. Why? I didn't follow all things pope, although I've started.
You know a lot now.
I do. I know a whole bunch. Robert Francis Prevost.
Yeah.
He is the new pope, and he is the American pope. And they're going to talk about him as the American pope, which is sort of a big deal, apparently. I was not raised Catholic, nor am I Catholic now, but I'm a news freak, and I was watching the coverage, and these people, I guess newscasters who were raised went to Catholic school or whatever, they're all Catholic in their upbringing, they are just beside themselves.
They're a little giddy.
It was really wild to watch the coverage, and it was just, and I'm not kidding, it was like this. This is unbelievable. Can you believe this? Mary Frances, can you believe this? John so-and-so, can you believe this? In my lifetime, I never thought I would. Now, I'm not saying it isn't remarkable. I have no idea if it's remarkable or not remarkable. But is it remarkable because people thought there would never be an American pope? Is that why? And if so, why? Why wouldn't there be an American pope? Because they have to be popes from over there? I
don't think they have to be. And I don't really know either.
Yeah.
But there have been so many. He's like the 266th.
He is the 266th.
And there has
pope.
never been an American pope. Maybe that's why it's so unbelievable.
So you're saying
I don't. It's unprecedented.
Yeah, it is. What you were saying earlier. So if all the popes had been named John Paul, then he would be John Paul the 266th.
He would be.
Huh?
How would you write that out in Roman numerals?
With a whole bunch of M's and stuff.
There's probably a way to get it done with
M's and C's and
I just
X's
don't remember. I don't remember
and
when
L's.
Do kids still learn about Roman numerals in school?
They don't learn anything.
They learn stuff.
They have computers. They don't need to learn anything.
They learn how to tell the AI what to do.
Yeah, they tell AI what kind of term paper they want written.
I'm sure that's not true.
Of course it's not true. I'm just kidding, of course. So a brand new pope, and that is that.
That is that.
Can I just share something from one chapter of my upcoming book, This Day in Pope History?
Wait, it's a book or it's a feature?
And right now it's just a couple of napkins. But I want to just say that I was doing some studying because I knew the conclave was going on, and I really believed that this week whoever would get a new pope.
Uh-huh.
The world there'd be a new pope in town.
It's almost like everybody is Catholic this week.
Isn't it seem like that?
I was kind of, I was surprised by how, is it, I guess it's always like this.
Well,
Maybe I just haven't paid as close attention, but everybody's so excited about it.
I think people like to attach themselves to important things.
Yeah.
And so maybe a kid that went to, elementary school or went to Catholic school as a young lad would now sort of feel. And there's some people that are culturally Baptist or Methodist or whatever, and probably culturally Catholic. They were raised that, but they don't believe all that.
Yeah.
They just sort of are.
But it's not, like you said, you're not Catholic and you're kind of into it,
no,
right?
I mean, like I said before, I'm a news freak, and so I love news stuff. And it's a big story. Anyway, can I please share with you what I've learned about
sorry. Go ahead.
The popes? Now, on May 7th, 2 days ago, I said to you, tomorrow is, I've discovered, and will come out of my book, it is a bad day in Pope history.
Right.
May 8th, bad day in Pope history.
Uh-huh.
For example, in the year 535, that means 535 years past BC.
Yes.
In the year 535, John II, maybe the third, I can't make it my writing, but one of the John popes died on May 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to the year 615.
Mm-hmm.
St. Boniface, one of them, Pope, died. It might have been the first one because he didn't have a number after his name. So St. Boniface died on that day, May 8th.
Okay.
That's 2.
Yeah.
3 strikes, you're out. On May 8th, 685, St. Benedict, a pope, died on 685.
Wow.
So you have 3 popes that died on May 8th. And so I told you on May 7th. But the day can be redeemed. Perhaps, just perhaps.
Yes.
I said on the 7th of May, perhaps the Pope will be elected on that very same day. And here we are with the new Pope in town on that very same day.
That's right.
On the 8th
but now that I
of
think
May.
about it, before yesterday, there had been 265 popes.
That's correct.
Had they all, to only have had 3 of them die on May 8th, that's not that many. I think maybe 3 on the same day is not as fantastic as we might have thought.
Okay. I'm going to take this challenge in the same spirit I took this is your assignment. Go find out if Cracker Jack was the first candy in a song.
Okay.
And I did, and it was.
So what are you what are you gonna find out?
I'm going to find out exactly when every pope died. And next week I will report if in fact there were any more than 3 or equal to 3 popes dying on the same day. My gut tells me, and my gut, like with Cracker Jack, is very good. my gut says this is the most popes dying on the same day since the beginning of popes.
Well, that could be true, and I still think it's maybe just not that many. My grandmother had 6 babies. 4 of them were born on the 3rd of the month.
Okay.
2 on January 3rd, 1 on February 3rd, 1 on May 3rd. So stuff like that happens.
Well, stuff like that happens, but
but that out of 6, 4 of them born on the 3rd of the month. Okay. And we're talking about 265 all died on May 8th. Listen.
You're trying to slow my roll, my Catholic roll, and my Pope roll.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to, throw water on the flame of your passion for.
You know what? Can I just say one thing real quick?
Turns out to either be a chapter in a book or a feature, or once it moves beyond the napkins.
Let me just tell you one thing. I'm now lost all interest in Pope history. You have killed my interest in Pope. Thank you, Lauren.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
So Pakistan and India are battling each other. And can I just say, 2 major nuclear countries fighting with each other, what could go wrong?
Yikes.
I mean, it is a big, big deal and needs to be brought to heal as quickly as it's HEEL, as quickly as possible. Because, Pakistan says that they killed 50 Indian soldiers. Who's to blame? And you have Chinese jets are a part of this thing now, and Pakistan shoots down 25 Indian drones, kills 50 troops, vows even bigger strikes as these two nuclear powers are sitting really, honestly, right on the edge of war. So we will, look, Pakistan is saying, they're saying, hey, listen, we have vowed to get revenge for every drop of blood that has been spilt in this conflict. So somebody somewhere's got to jump in and say, we got to do what we can to bring it down, because it is it's getting crazy. And India's Ministry of Defense says, look, these strikes were in retaliation to what he called a barbaric mass shooting in the Kashmir region last month. 26 people were killed by gunmen. Okay, so 26 people were killed by gunmen in the Kashmir region, and India then bombs Pakistan, and Pakistan is saying, we're going after you, and it becomes back and forth, and obviously escalation could occur, and these are nuclear powers, or as some would say, nuclear powers.
Not you, though.
Not me.
It's terrifying.
They're nuclear. It is. It really is a very big deal. Now, I know it's way over there, and honestly, the Pope stuff has us all has many people distracted. Right. That's the biggest news. It's not, but I'm telling you, man, the Pakistan thing is just huge, and we'll obviously be watching it. It's going to be in the news. Things could change by the time you actually are listening to this. I mean, as of this moment, things here are peaceful, and things in America will be peaceful. Mm-hmm. But what is going to happen with our allies? We have allies involved, and they nuclear weapons, and mayhem could ensue. Mm-hmm. 2 U.S. citizens, this is the headline. See if you spot anything wrong with this headline.
Okay.
2 U.S. citizen children deported by the U.S. along with their mother.
Well,
that's not true.
The mother was deported.
Right.
Right.
The mother is
the kids stay with the
or not. It's the mother's choice. But it's another one of those stories where it wasn't. The United States is not deporting any U.S. citizens. U.S. citizens are not getting deported.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're deporting these 4-year-olds. No, we're not. Who's in charge of the 4-year-olds? The 24-year-olds or whoever is the age, whatever the age of the mom or the dad. If you're in this country illegally and you have a baby in this country, that baby is a U.S. citizen. But no, babies can travel outside the country. There's no problem with that.
Right.
Let's say you have an illegal person in the country and they have a baby, and that baby is a U.S. citizen, and then that illegal person wants to go back and visit their family in wherever, Honduras or Mexico or wherever. Mm-hmm. Well, then they get up on vacation,
Yeah.
And they get up and they go visit,
wherever they want to go.
Yeah. And they take the kids with them.
Yeah.
No, nobody made them leave. Nobody made them stay. So, but if you deport the illegal people and they take their minor children with them, that is on them. That is not the United States deporting anyone who is here legally. It is such an emotional thing. Mm-hmm. When it's like the Elian Gonzalez thing. I mean, you talk about it and you make it sort of the little picture of him. He's crying. He's holding his hands out. He wants to hold the neck of the aunt or whatever. And oh my goodness, how can we? Well, because we're principally driven, and that's why. And I know that's tough, but I'm just telling you. Look, we've said this before on a previous, but this is a brand new headline.
Yeah,
and it's the same kind of thing. And as long as it goes sort of unrebutted, we think, oh gosh, that's really terrible. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be deporting, 3-year-old, citizens. Why are we doing that? We're not doing that. You should say, why is that mother taking her kid that is a U.S. citizen? And by the way, I have no problem with that. If she wants to take her child with her, I believe a child should be with their mother,
right,
or with their dad, or whoever. If you are a U.S. citizen, you can live outside the country.
Sure.
Nobody's making you live inside the country. And the same thing if you're a child that's the legal citizen of an illegal parent, because a child was born in the United States, you can travel and let's go live a few years. And then maybe get your mom and dad's situation figured out and come back to the United States. That's okay. Mm-hmm. You don't have to stay in the United States because you're a U.S. citizen. Go with your mom and then come back whenever you want, or come back never. or stay here in the country with the relatives that are not here illegally, and your mom can go figure it out and then come back into the United States, whatever it takes. But this whole thing of declaring that, the United States is deporting U.S. citizens, it's just not true. And it makes my head explode to see those headlines.
Mammoth Hot Springs, Wyoming.
Mammoth Hot Springs, Wyoming.
On Sunday. This past Sunday. 47-year-old man was gored by a bison while visiting. He was at Yellowstone. He was at Yellowstone National Park last Sunday. According to the National Park Service, the man who was from Cape Coral, Florida, he was attacked after getting too close to the large animal in the Lake Village area of the park. Believe it or not, he was treated for minor injuries, only minor injuries. Most national parks require people to keep a minimum distance of 25 yards from wildlife and 100 yards from predators like bears and wolves. But since this happened, I have seen so many pictures of people taking selfies with bison. Just stay away. Just stay away. Admire them from afar. It's not that they don't like you. They're big and they're dangerous and let them be cute from far away. I'm not wishing anything bad on anyone. However, this is that whole selfie thing. Yeah. Where you got to get a picture of yourself out with wildlife or on top of a tower or holding onto your boyfriend's hand while you lean off the side of a cliff. We did that whole thing on people that die doing that kind of stuff. 50 most dangerous places to take a selfie, and people who had died, in the interest of getting, but they died doing something they loved. Yeah, sure they did. Getting the good shot. Yeah, stay away from the bison. Yeah. Can I say, anytime somebody says they died doing something they loved, I would say, you know what they loved even more than that? Living. They loved living more than that. I can relate to this a little bit. I've been to Africa many times, but one of the times I went on a thing in the where you see the wildlife, like a safari. Yeah, like a safari. Yeah. And so I went on a safari, and the guy who was our guide there, I mean, we were in Jeeps that we could have been attacked. So easily. Open. Oh yeah, open air. Yeah. It's very unnerving. It really is. You think, but they're right there. And what this guy told us was, in very broken English, he said, if you stay inside the truck, you are invisible. If you get out of the truck, you are lunch. Oh, no. That's what he said. And so we were out and we saw the lions and the gazelle. We saw the gazelles. We saw the zebras. Man. I mean, zebras by the, I don't think I'm exaggerating, certainly by the thousands. Are you kidding? No. I mean, as far as you could see, zebras everywhere. And we saw this pride of lions. And it was so fascinating to watch. And they were, say, down in the grass. And they would get up for a second and just creep, and go down. And then creep, I don't like down. Where this is going. And they were watching the herd, watching the whole thing. And then it was like a bullet out of the gun. Because all the lions were in different areas. They weren't like in a row or anything. Right. They were different. They were all kind of watching the same thing. And they saw something limping there on the outside of the herd. And I mean, like a bullet out of the gun. Boom, they were on it, and boom, it was dead. I mean, it was, and I know it's a circle of life and all that, and it sounds like a really sad story. But one of the things I observed, and this is just, from my experience there, just so I can share it with somebody in case, you're super sad about this or whatever. God made a lot of them. Made a lot of the zebras. Yeah. And the zebras are food for the predators. It's just the way it is. It is. And, I know. And so just, but all that to say, the whole selfie thing, all this kind of stuff. Now, I went long before there was selfies at all. I went before you had a camera on your phone. Right. And so, a camera was a camera. It's really hard to get in front of the camera. Can you see the lion? So anyways, I think that's insane. It's insane to do those kinds of things where you're rutting season for deer.
They'll kill you, man.
I was amazed when I almost didn't want to read to the end of this because I thought it was going to give me some, greater gory detail. And when I got to the part that said he was treated for minor injuries, I couldn't believe it.
Amazing. I wonder where he was gored. To say where he was gored?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, it is time for scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show scattershoot from the Pacific Northwest.
It's lovely here.
Yeah, it's a long story, but the work to do in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
You have family in the Pacific Northwest.
I do.
You have some graduation event going on
My niece.
this weekend. And so you tagged along and are staying.
Right.
And I'm scurrying back to the great state of Texas. But we were doing work at a radio station, and great folks, fantastic folks, but we were not able to get all of our work done there in the building in a studio.
Right.
And so we are on a patio out overlooking the verdant green
it's
of
gorgeous.
the Pacific Northwest, past Mount Rainier, which, by the way, just yesterday was the anniversary of the naming of Mount Rainier.
Right. You mentioned that.
Mount Rainier was named just yesterday. The anniversary was yesterday, and it was named by, you may have heard of a guy named Vancouver.
Yes, I have.
Well, in 1792, British Captain George Vancouver sighted and renamed Mount Rainier.
Do we know what it was before? What it was called before? Is that part of the story?
Scott Wilder Peak.
That's as good a name as any.
Wilder Show Pass. No, I don't know what it was called before. But anyway, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So it happened to be right here in the shadow of, not really, we're on the other side of it, but you know what I'm talking about. The shadow of Mount Rainier. It looks tall.
It looks pretty tall.
Snow-capped mountains. I mean, it's crazy.
It's got to be pretty high up there, right?
Look it up. See how big it is.
Okay.
See how many steps it is. How many feet up it is.
Mount Rainier is it's a 14er.
14er.
It's 14,411 feet.
You know, I've been up 14,000 feet.
Oh, have you really?
I sure have.
Oh, cool.
I've landed in the two highest elevation or altitude airports in the world. One is Quito, Ecuador, and one is La Paz, Bolivia.
Okay.
And then it went up from that even.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Did you get sick?
Yeah, well, I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I didn't feel great. It's that high. Usually about 7,500 feet, I can really feel it. 5,240, I think, is a mile. So 5,240 or something like that is a mile. And I feel it a little bit at a mile, but really it's 7,500. Flagstaff is 7,500. Yeah, I kind of feel it at Flagstaff, Arizona. Feel it there. And anything higher than that, I've been to 10,000, 12,000. When you go to, go up to 14, 13, 14, it's intense.
Yeah.
It's not good. I want to go back down. I do for real. Anyway, so it's a tall mountain then.
It is tall.
Yeah, that's cool. Is it the tallest mountain in the United States?
It's not the tallest mountain in the United States.
What is the tallest mountain in the United States?
Let me go back. Mount McKinley is 20,310.
What? That's that many feet?
It is.
Mount McKinley is 20,000 feet. Is that in the United States?
20,310.
It was just renamed. Trump just renamed it McKinley. Remember? Because that's in Alaska. Because they had named it. the Denali.
Yes.
They went back and named it Denali for the Native Americans or the American Indian or whatever we're supposed to call people who were there first.
Right. So that is the highest mountain peak in North America.
Mount McKinley is the highest.
It is. Mount Everest elevation is 29,032 feet.
What is the tallest? It's K2 or something is the tallest.
K2 is 28,251.
Ooh, okay.
So it's.
So what is the tallest mountain in the world?
Do you know how much it costs to climb Mount Everest?
like 20 grand or something.
40 grand.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Permit fees, travel, insurance, gear, support staff.
Well, you have to buy a Sherpa. You have to buy him and say, carry me up there.
You don't buy a Sherpa, but that has always seemed so strange to me that people get up, that it's not just Americans,
right?
But we get up to the top and where we pound our chest and the Sherpas are going up and down
all the time,
all the time.
They're carrying us up on their back. All right, so what is the tallest mountain in the world?
Mount Everest is the highest altitude above mean sea level.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
At 29,029 feet.
29,000. Is that the one everybody climbs?
Well, not everybody.
Climbing Mount Everest? Is that the biggest?
If it costs 40 grand to climb, I can't imagine.
Is that the one that Edmund Hillary
Sir
climbed?
Edmund Hillary? Was he the first?
He climbed?
Maybe was he part of the
I think he was
first expedition?
I think so, but he was famous for it, of course.
Let's see.
And we were told that Hillary Clinton was named after Sir Edmund Hillary. The only problem was nobody knew Sir Edmund Hillary when she was born.
Yes. So I typed in how many to Google. Yeah. Just how many.
Okay. How many what?
History of my...
How many what?
How many miles does a bunny travel in a lifetime?
How many what? How many
miles does a bunny travel in a lifetime?
Oh, because I looked that up.
We asked her, how many games in the Ranger season?
That's good.
How many F words
62.
in a Nora?
That's good.
How many players are there on a volleyball team? Why did I ever care about that?
Okay.
Not all of these are mine.
Because bunnies sometimes are in the
the bunnies.
The
Yeah,
house.
I remember that. That's definitely.
How far do you think a bunny travels in her lifetime? And it was an answer. It's like within a mile. That the whole world is 1 mile for a bunny, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yes. How many people climbed Mount Everest?
Yeah.
As of the end of 2024, it says over, but it's really more than 7,200 individual climbers have reached the summit of Mount Everest.
There are people dead that are up there. You know that. They leave them dead. If you die on the way up there, they don't bring your body down. Did you know that?
I think I did know that.
They leave them there.
Yeah.
They're dead right there, like in The Shining.
It says actually 7,200 individual climbers, successful summits exceeds 10,000, but a lot of people have done it more than once.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I need to not do a 14er with somebody who's 30 years younger than I am. I need to do a 14er with somebody who is willing to stop and rest along the way.
Oh, sure.
And,
you have to
and
almost.
take it at a more relaxed
pace.
Yeah. We share a common favorite movie. Maybe not favorite of all time, but it's up there in the top 10, probably. It was released in the 80s.
Okay.
Classic.
80s.
Classic, been around for a long time. I think it was actually even, it was revisited in a Super Bowl commercial a few years ago.
Okay.
And the two stars of this movie are reuniting to play buddies again in a new movie that's coming out. I'm not sure when it's coming out. They're making it. They're making it now.
Right.
It doesn't say when. Summer production start this year. So 2026.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses? So it's two guys. The movie came out in the 80s.
Like a boy-girl thing.
No, it's going to be. It's like a buddy comedy.
Dumb and Dumber.
No, that's a good guess.
Let me ask you this: Are you saying they are reprising the roles, or they're just the two guys that are in a different movie about something else, but it's the same two guys?
But it's the same two guys. This is going to be really close to almost 40 years.
40 years
after the release of this first movie that we both really, really liked.
Can you give me a hint? Give me one hint. That's fine.
Let my Cameron
Oh,
go.
my gosh. Bueller.
That's it.
Ferris Bueller.
That's it. It's,
my goodness.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick and Alan Ruck, most recently of Succession fame. They are reuniting for a movie called The Best Is Yet to Come.
Okay.
It's a comedy. It is based on a French film of the same title that is from 2019. And actually, now I'm a little bit nervous because this thing that I'm reading about, it says they are negotiating to reunite.
What?
Somebody better not let this fall through because I'm already really looking forward to this. They play best friends who they will play, or hopefully, fingers crossed, they will play best friends who, through a colossal misunderstanding that creates a ticking clock, hop in a car to find the estranged son of one of them and also try to do all the things that life has prevented them from doing. If they really wanted to revisit the past, then the car they would hop in would be a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California Spider.
Love it.
Which is the car that Cameron thought his father loved more than him and pushed it out the window of the house.
I hated that scene.
I know, it still makes me. It's every time. It's been a while since I watched it. I've seen it probably 50 times, I bet. And every time I think maybe this time it won't fall out of the window, but it always does. So it's not Ferris Bueller Part 2, but the next best thing maybe.
My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid who's going with the girl who saw Ferris pass out at a 31 Flavors last night. I guess it's pretty serious. Bueller. Such a great movie. One more thing about national parks. Oh, yeah, sure.
I saw a thing about the most visited national parks in the country. Well, it's not even that really. It's like these national parks are the ones that everybody goes to, and the crowds are crazy during the summers. Wouldn't you rather go to some of the nation's less frequently visited national parks? They're still really beautiful. They're great draws. They have much to offer, but not as many people go. And one of them that they mentioned is the National Park of American Samoa.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's so funny.
It's the only national park that's located south of the equator. It's about 2,600 miles southwest of Hawaii. It's located in the South Pacific Ocean. It's spread over 3 tropical islands in the territory of American Samoa. And people go there to birdwatch, see fruit bats with 3-foot wingspans. They snorkel coral reefs. It's made up of tropical rainforests, volcanic mountain slopes, and the surrounding water is full of reefs that are home to 950 fish varieties, as well as endangered sea turtles.
No way.
I'd go.
Well, and it also is is where Jimmy McGill got his law degree.
That's why I thought it was so interesting.
Virginia has a new law. It was just signed the last week.
Oh, yeah?
Virginia is banning children from using a phone for more than 1 hour per day.
How can they even do that?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Didn't we learn anything from Prohibition?
That's not the way I was thinking of it, but that makes sense too.
I mean, you have to have laws that can be enforced.
Yeah.
Social media, here's what they said. Social media can lead to harm. Social media can harm young people's mental health.
We know that.
But let me tell you something. Restricting them can put the rest of us in danger. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but it has to do with it's very complicated. Parents can extend and let their kid do more than an hour. It has to do with the apps, and the governor wanted it to be a law for 18 or younger than 18.
That was my next question.
It's younger than 16. So it's 15 and younger.
Okay.
But it's not going to work. I mean, it's not going to work.
Really hard to enforce.
Well, laws have to reflect what people will do. If you have a law that you cannot enforce, it weakens people's belief in law generally.
Right.
And you're going to love this. We've talked before about what happens when young people, you're going to have Supreme Court Justice named Abby or whatever,
Brittany.
Brittany with Britny. N-I with a heart over it.
Cody. Chief
Cody.
Justice Cody.
Chief Justice Cody. Chief Justice Thor. So listen to what Jen Golbeck, who is a professor at the University of Maryland's College of Information, she told a local news outlet. This is what she said about this law, okay?
Okay.
She said, I don't know if I see it being effective. Honestly, kids are very clever at getting around these, and, I totally understand that. Like, what are you going to do if you're a platform and a 12-year-old, 14-year-old signs up and says they're 25? Like, are you going to require ID from everyone who signs up for your platform? Probably not.
Was your first car handed down to you from your dad or your mom?
No, I had I bought it for $1,500. I'd saved the money from working at the grocery store and mowing yards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
$1,500 cash. It was proverbial. The woman only drove it to and from church,
Nice.
It had almost no miles on it. It was a 1971 Buick Skylark. It was sort of a poor man's Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Interesting.
But it was, it was good. It was good until it was not. But it was good. No, but I bought it. I bought it. I'd say myself. It was, but it was nothing. It was $1,500.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet that was a big deal at the time.
Well, sure. At the time, it was like, gosh, who has that money?
I think probably this is kind of the same thing. I did the first car I drove. Actually, the second car I drove, too, were both handed down to me from my parents.
I like that.
But apparently, that's not a good idea. Huh? It's not a good idea.
Why is
if you hand down, that means that your kid is going to be driving most likely an older car.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And it's not as safe. It
Gotcha.
might be without, well, first of all,
seat belts, you got the whole emergency warning and all that.
Yeah, all of the things that we now, like airbags, all of the things that we believe, make cars safer are not included in those cars quite often. Researchers found that teens driving cars 6 to 15 years old face a 19% higher risk of death in a fatal car crash than those driving vehicles 5 years old or newer. If the car is more than 15 years old, the risk jumps to 31%. I think, I think
terrible.
Sometimes
it's romantic, though.
It is. Junior's driving the car that we brought him home from the hospital in. And that speaks to, look what a great car, we purchased. We've kept it in such good shape. It's still running. It's a great car. And now he's going to drive it. And apparently,
that makes sense.
It does make sense, but that had never occurred to me before.
I like old cars. I mean, I like when you do that, you keep it in the family. Maybe the dad just keeps the car.
Yeah.
And you don't pass it on to Junior, who can't really appreciate it, honestly, like you would, like the dad would. But there is that thing where, the dad and Junior are fixing up the old car and that whole thing. It's like in a movie. Not sure it ever happens. It probably happens somewhere. Somebody does. Probably. So welcome, Pope. Brand new Pope in town. I'm looking off here to my left. There's sheep over here.
There are sheep over there.
See the sheep over there?
There are sheep, and there is a lively Little League game in the distance.
Right over there.
Yeah. I hear them. I just heard somebody yell, "Go, buddy!" That's so sweet. It's a beautiful evening.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's good. It's chilly, but it's good. Join us on The Light. If you like music, join us on The Light. Just download the app wherever you get your apps. You will simply then search The Light DFW, Light, The Light DFW. Download it. Lauren and I are there from 5 to 9 a.m. Central Time, weekdays, and we love being there. Love being there with you, so check it out and tell a friend about that, too. And rate the app. That's a good idea. And speaking of telling friends, thanks for telling your friends about the Wilder Show podcast. We really get to do this sort of weird thing where we do the talk thing and do the music thing.
Who would have guessed?
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
Because I like both of them for different reasons. The music thing is sort of relaxing and all that kind of stuff. And everything you kind of drop in and say little things. But the talk thing, it sort of demands a little more. And I like that a lot.
Yep.
And plus, I get to hear more of, of your thoughts on things.
And who doesn't love that?
Never get enough of that. But no. Seriously, Lauren, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. So hope you have a great Mother's Day. Guys, there is still time to do something. You don't have to do everything. Do something. and have a great Mother's Day. Time is the most valuable commodity. Don't underestimate the power of just spending time with the mom or the moms in your life. So, the Wilder Show podcast, we're glad you're here. If you want to send us email, we love that. We'd love to get your emails and return the emails, like answer them, right? We answer emails.
Yes,
yep.
We do.
Podcast at wildershow.com is where you send your email. Podcast at wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And please like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next time. Okay, so the Pope, we got to talk about the Pope.
Okay.
You know my favorite moment from the thing where he stood on the balcony?
No.
When he said, "Sup, Southsiders?" He's a White Sox fan.
I do know that.
The White Sox are at the bottom of the NL Central. And here's my thought, it probably would never happen, but what is the chance the Pope would throw out the first pitch at a game?
That would never happen.
Pope Leo the 16th, the 14th. What is it? 14th.
14th. I like the name.
Robert Francis Provost. He's known for, see, this also fits right in with the whole thing with the White Sox. He's known as being a friend of the downtrodden.
He is. Can you hear Little League?
Oh, is that right?
Often, I just heard somebody. You hear them?
Two fathers fist fighting.
No, they're cheering. Somebody's rounding the bases.